Excuse me. We are doing this week's PARASHAT with reading. Bezat Hashem.
VAYAKHEL.
VAYAKHEL. Yes. It's funny because I prepared the whole thing on Pikudei, and then I realized that it's not what we're doing, so I had to go back and prepare for VAYAKHEL. Excuse me. You know, according to the Ramban takes Sefer Shmot and divided into three different halakim, two different sections. This is the section that we deal about being the Mishkan and so on and so forth. We're talking in this week's parasha, VAYAKHEL. We're talking on the Hazahara, the warning that people get regarding Shabbat, collecting the Truma, the donations for building the Mishkan, making the Yeriyot of the Mishkan, the covers of the Mishkan, the Kisui, the Amudim, the pillars, HaParochet, the Aron, the tabernacle, the Shulchan, the table, the Menorah, the Mizbeach, the whole nine yards. With the description of building the Mikdash, right away you see the great wealth which was involved in building this ongoing about this endeavor. So we're talking about tremendous amount of gold. Tremendous amount of gold which they used to build it. Am Yisrael gave a donation of 29 kikar zahav. 29. Kikar zahav, one kikar is about 22, depends, between 21 to 25, let's say 22 kilos of gold. So that's 29, we're talking about something like 640 kilos of gold, which is about 1,400 pounds of gold. That is a lot of money. It's a lot of gold. I mean, you make the cheshbon, take how many ounces, of course it's troy ounces, but still, how many ounces in a pound, times it about 1,400, times it plus the price of gold today, which is, who knows what, 1,500, whatever it is. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But we know that according to the Midrash, Moshe gave himself the same amount, because if you look at how much they used and how much was given, there's another double. So Moshe probably gave, they say, the Midrash says that Moshe gave the same amount. He was he was doing well for himself. Well, the whole ordeal of building the Mishkan with gold is a little bizarre. And I'll tell you why. With your permission, I'll tell you why. At least it's bizarre for me. Last week we had the whole ordeal with the Egel, with the golden calf. Right? And the golden calf was made out of? Gold. It was made out of gold. Gold there, gold here. Who gave the gold? Bnei Israel. What did Bnei Israel do here? The same thing they gave here also. So therefore it's the same people that gave gold to the Mishkan, gave it before to the Egel. I don't know about you, but for me I find it a little bizarre, a little strange. I mean, of course it's not a week, but in our reading, it's a week ago. I mean, just the same people gave the same gold to do Avodah Zarah. And now you're taking the same people with the same gold, not the same gold, but gold that they have to something of building the Mikdash. I don't know. It's a little bizarre. Then on top of that, we have the famous story of what they call Marot Atzovot with the copper mirrors that the Jewish women brought. That from that they turned to make the cure. The cure is that copper sink that the Kohanim were sanctifying the hands and the legs and the feet. Is there anything that we can learn from those two issues, two stories? Is there anything in common that you can learn? Is there anything that I can learn for myself, or we can learn for ourselves from that? And if so, what is it that we could learn? And Rabotai, pay attention. So the people were the same people who gave us the gold for the Egel and gave us the gold. And you see the similarities. Gold for Avodah Zarah, gold for the Mishkan. But it's the same people. It's the same people. It is an unbelievable lesson to life to learn. That even at the lowest points of your life, the lowest points and the highest points of our lives are compelled and built from the same exact materials. What makes the difference is what usage you decide to do with these materials that you're building. Anything. Take something that we all say, ooh, right? Sexual interaction, sex. It could be the most humiliating act in the human arsenal. Humiliating in terms of like animals. Or yet it could be the greatest show of almost a spiritual act, to the point that you can bring life and take those two things. One is filthy and dirty. One is a matter of kedusha. Eating could be the same thing. It's the same act, but it's your intention behind it that makes the difference. Therefore, one needs to ask himself, where are we taking that gold that is inside of us? Are we taking the gold inside of us to a place of unity, connection, holiness, building, constructing? Or are we taking the gold inside of us to places of disconnect, destruction, and impurity? You determine that. If you think about it for a moment, you would see that in the root of us, in our base, we are all pure gold. But we are raw material. With years, we try to melt the gold. We try to manipulate the gold. We mix it with different alloys. We mix it with different alloys to make it more workable, to create statues and images according to what we think will bring us to what we call itlahavut yetzarim, a burst of desires. Instead of being pure. And every moment and every action, we are faced with the two possibilities, two options: to build an egel, to build a golden calf, or to build the temple. Holy, impure. Every action you do, you need to realize that you could determine the fate of it, and overall would determine the rest of your life. Your life and not a moment given. What you call your life will be the whole span of your actions, and overall would be rated about the overall of your life. That's why Chazal told us, better off you make tshuva when you're young, so you can live the rest of your life appropriately. And then we say, well, I did what I did. How could I have done it? How could I have done such a thing? And so on. Maybe I am rotten. Maybe I am bad. I'm so bad. I'm so rotten. But then you need to understand that all the wrong turns in which we took in our lives, all the mistakes that we had made, all the wrong decisions that we made, it's not because that our base is blemished or that the materials that we have are blemished. Because in our core, we are pure gold. But how did we make this mistake? We simply, that sometimes we are unable, sometimes we don't want to remember that our base is always going to be pure. It is convenient to us to forget that we are tzaddikim, and that's what I tried to explain to you yesterday. It is easier to make a mitzvah than to make an averah, because inside it is implanted in each and every one of us. Uvacharta batov, I'm giving you good, I'm giving you bad. That uvacharta b'chaim, to choose life is to choose good. So therefore, genetically, naturally, we always want to do the right thing. We want to do the mitzvah. The averah takes a lot of effort because the core is still pure. We are pure inside. Just we sometimes forget that. And we don't want to remember that. And then we say, well, since I did this, I'm bad. You know what? Might as well, there's no hope for me. You are wrong. There's always hope. We're always going to stay pure inside. And again, it's a very important lesson to remember that every moment you face with this decision, every action, Rabotai, engrave this on your heart. You're facing a choice. So far, so good? Not good enough. I want to make this point, with your permission, a little stronger. That brings us to the case of the Marot HaTzovot. Marot HaTzovot, people refer to as the mirror that women used, Tzovea Mishum, but it's not Mishum painting because of painting, that's Tzovea Be'ayin. Tzovot, because the women came gathering over the Mishkan with those mirrors in their heads. So, what happened here? Moshe was the general contractor. He was supervising the whole building, the Mishkan. He told them what to do, and which order to do, and so on and so forth. Betzalel, Eliav, and all those smart people, all these people that Hashem filled them up with Ruach Chochmah, were constructing this, they were building this, but Moshe was supervising the whole thing. So now it reaches the point in which he needs to build the kior. The kior is that sink that's made out of copper, that it needs to be built. According to the Midrash, and of course Rashi brings this, it's a very long and beautiful Rashi. Rashi brings that the woman came and they brought those mirrors. Moshe Rabbeinu said, why don't you get this out of here? Those mirrors were mirrors that the women used to look at themselves at the time. They didn't have mirrors the way we have it with a silver lining in the back so you could see. So they simply used to take copper, they used to polish it very, very well, and everybody had a mirror they could put their makeup on, fix themselves up. So when the husband comes from the hardship of the building site of the pyramids or whatever they were building there, they would look. The wife would look very presentable to them, and they would get pregnant, and they would bring children, and that in a way saved the continuation of Am Yisrael. Which I keep telling you all the time, being busy is a trap, and I call it the busy trap. We are busy. We put ourselves on the altar of work, and we don't even have time to think past that. People didn't want to have children anymore, and if it wasn't for these women, Am Yisrael Chas v'Shalom would not have a continuation, and that would have been the end, because there were no babies. So that act of the women, lichora, saved Am Yisrael, saved the continuation of Am Yisrael. So Moshe says, this is repulsed by this. Mirrors that was used for what? To make women attractive so the men could have relations with them so they can have babies? This? Take it out of here. I don't want it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to him, no. These mirrors, I like them. Chavivot alay meod. I like them, and I like them a lot. You take them. Moshe did not want to mix Kodesh and Chol. This is Chol. This is this is not appropriate for Mikdash, for Mishkan. He didn't want to mix it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no. Accept these. Accept these. We know that Bezalel, when we say about Bezalel, Choshev Machashavot, he knew when everybody brought them something, based on how pure the thought was behind. A person wanted to give it because Hashem said to give, I'm giving it. Gave it from the bottom of his heart. The more pure the giving, the more it was in the inner circles of the Mishkan. If the person wanted to hear his name, so-and-so is giving for the Kodesh, 2 pounds of gold. So he wants to give it because everybody was woo, right? Okay, we're going to make hooks for your things on the outside. Good, thank you. We're going to make hooks. Now in the Marot, everybody knew what it was for. I don't want this. Okay, you bring something. I don't know. We make bracelets out of them for arthritis, But this for the Mikdash, not taking this. Why? Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted it so much? And he said to them, Kabel. Okay, so we know that there was the survival of Am Yisrael. But I'm going to give you a different point. With this act of the mirrors, the women beautified themselves. They did something tremendous. They elevated the chol, the mundane, to the level, to the madrega of Kodesh. They took the chol and they sanctified it. They did a mitzvah with it. They used the chol, they used the mundane for the Kodesh, for the sake of holiness. The Chas v'Shalom did not use holiness for the sake of mundane. They brought it up. What does it tell me internally, inside? So many times, one might feel in life that he has a separation in his life between the Chol and the Kodesh, between the holy and the unholy. There is a separation between the way I behave during the week and to my alter ego of Shabbat. And Shabbat I'm a tzaddik and so on and so forth, right? There are many places and many times or many actions which I'm in the issue of Kedusha, right? I'm doing mitzvot, I'm learning Torah, and then there is a separate me, a separate entity in me that goes and does the actions of Chol. I need to go to work, I need to interact with my workers, with my construction workers, with this, that, and the other thing. Now, one needs to remember that the word Chol in Hebrew is also sand. Sand. It's regular, but it means also sand. And usually in sand, you sink. So sometimes I feel like I'm sinking, I'm stuck. If you ever had a car, okay, imagine instead of sand, snow. Sometimes you get stuck and your wheels spin and you can't go anywhere. So a person might feel that he's stuck in the chol, in the mundane. 6 out of 7 parts, 6 parts out of the 7, he's stuck in doing whatever he needs to do. Listen, I come in contact with this, I work with Mexicans, I work with this one, I'm stuck. What can I do? Or I'm stuck between 2 points of Kedusha, between Shabbat and in the middle, Balagan. And it seems to me, many times, that those moments in my life are inferior. They're not as important. They're dismissible. at the end, since there's nothing holy about, what's so holy about being in construction? What's so holy about fixing cars? What's so holy about running a store? What's so holy about it? It's okay, that's the work, Rabbi, that's the life. You got to hustle, you got to do this. It's not yeshiva, it's different. And this is your mistake. Because when you do that, eventually you allow yourself to act in such a way that would divert you and take you off your path. Before you know, you're finding yourself doing things that midoraita de asur. Stealing and cheating and lying and on. Because you did not see any potential of Kedusha in those moments. For you, that was just passing moments. It's no big deal. When I go to shul, when I come to the synagogue, of course I have to act in a certain way. I don't lie on Shabbat. When we were kids, we used to say, "Ooh, he lied on Shabbat. On Shabbat he lied." But are you allowed to lie during the week? Oh, the week you're allowed to lie. On Shabbat you have to be tzaddik. On Shabbat I don't lie. During the week, what can I do, Rabbi? It's the work, that's the life. That's a mistake. That will make you go on the path, completely off the path. And we are not all driving a souped up Raptor that can go off-road better than it does on the road, right? We are not. We're all driving Toyotas and Hondas and whatever we drive. We need to drive on the road. We don't have all super 4x4 capabilities. I like the Raptor. But it's not good for the car, it's for the streets here. I need to be on the derech all the time. So therefore, comes the story of those mar'ot, of those mirrors, and teaches me a lesson. That dafka, specifically those moments, that seems to me the most mundane of all, the most regular unholy days of all, the most unimpressive moments of life, are the key, are my key to reach a level of holiness. Those moments are a chance for me to sanctify the material or materialistic moments, to bring them to the highest level of Kedusha. That's what we said before. It's the same gold. It's the same people. But what do I do with it? But I can only do that, right, when I realize that every moment in my life could be a moment of Kedusha. Every moment in my life is a moment of holiness. There's no moment of unholiness unless I defined it as such. I can bring the Kedusha, pull, limshoch. We can pull the Kedusha and extend it on the chol, on the mundane, on the materialistic, on the raw material, the unpurified, the raw, the rough material. But I can only do so if I'm not disconnected from myself. I need to be connected to myself. I need to be connected to the gold, to the pure gold inside of me. I need to be dedicated to this mission. I need to know what my mission is. To this understanding, when you have this understanding, therefore every moment does not only become a hechsher mitzvah. Like we said, there's a big difference when you are working so you can learn, or you're learning so you can work. I make the Torah, I make the Kedusha the focal point of my life. And therefore everything I do would be geared towards that. If I go to work, my job is first of all not to make money. My job first of all is to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim Barabim. And yes, only when you go out to the outside, to the pits, to the work, to the dirt, and you're mekadesh shamayim, shem shamayim barabim, you don't fall into this dirt. You serve as a beacon of light for people that will gravitate towards you. You'll see that the people will stop cursing around you. They will stop using foul language around you. They will change the attitude. They'll be more respectful. They will dare to dress up in more modesty. Because you're genuine and you're serving as a beacon of light. For those who work in darkness, Jews and Gentiles alike. You need to understand that. And when you understand this, it's not an echsher mitzvah, it is a mitzvah. Because making the chol into kodesh is a mitzvah. Lekadesh Shem Shamayim is an ongoing mitzvah. You can't do Kiddush Hashem one time and then I'm exempt for it for the rest of my life. It's a mitzvah that you are obligated all the time. Every moment, every action, every act. So therefore the question asked, why dafka the cure? Why the cure? Why that sink? Make bracelets, make name tags, give some pouches for the people. I'm Jew and I'm proud, I got a medal of honor, Kiddushim Shamayim, you get, like a medal. Make it out of copper. Why do you have to make it dafka the cure? What's the cure? It's very interesting. I love it. According to Unkelus and the Ramban and on, they hold that Kiddush Yadayim Veraglayim, the sanctification of your hands and feet that the Kohanim used to do, is not only to remove the lichluch, to remove the dirt out of the hands and the feet, but also a preparation for Kedusha, sanctifying themselves. Therefore, they place the kiyol in the hechal, that sink, the tub, they place in the hechal. In Shulchan Aruch, in Orach Chaim, it says that water, that they change the color, they change the feature, are pasul for netilat yadayim le'achila, are not adequate, are not proper to do netilat yadayim le'achila, for eating. Even though the shinui mayim, the changing the color of the water, is shafir, is okay for mikveh, but for netilat yadayim is no good. So therefore, here we learn that achila, eating, b'kedusha, chamur mikveh. Why? Shekiddush yadayim, when we do netilat yadayim, is equal to kiddush yadayim veraglayim of the kohen in the hechal. How do we know that? Very simple, because it says, shene'emar v'hitkadashtem ele mayim rishonim, and you sanctify yourself. What does it mean to sanctify yourself? It means to do netilat yadayim. So now, Rabbotai, I don't want to hear any more questions about why do we have to do netilat yadayim? If my hands are clean, do I have to wash my hands? Yes, you have to wash your hands. It is not about driving you crazy. Judaism is not a religion of OCD. Judaism is a religion of matter, of meaning, of substance. So when you do netilat yadayim, remember I told you what Rav Chaim Palachi says, when you do netilat yadayim, lift your hands in front of your eyes. Gaze through your hands. Lift your right hand a little higher than the left. And say the bracha, gazing into your hands, and the light that will come out, the kedusha will come out. It's like the Kohen Gadol when he holds his hands. The lights will come up, and then you have to be makrin that. You have to project it on your face. There's a light of kedusha that will come from that achilah, because this food that you're eating is unlike the beast. This food that you're eating is kedusha. Eating is kedusha as well. Yes, eating, digesting the food with your saliva and your teeth, that is an act of holiness as well. And since it could become an act of holiness, how do you make it into an act of holiness? First, you have to wash your hands appropriately. If not, your eating is like an animal. So therefore, as much as we want to eat, we need to understand that Achila is Kedusha. You know, the Ran brings that Seudah Shlishit on Shabbat. Why is it important? Because it's Achila Shel Kedusha. Why is it considered Achila Shel Kedusha? Because since we know that we have to eat another meal in Seudah Shlishit, a person that understands would not eat to fill his stomach on Shabbat morning meal. Will eat lesviut nafsho, so he won't be hungry. You eat, so you'll be fine, not exploding, not like Thanksgiving, you know, like this, you know, sitting down, right? Not drinking to get drunk, not being smacked. Why? Because you're going to eat a little bit, you're going to eat, and then you're going to have time to do what? To learn. To be mekadesh your nefesh. Therefore, the achila of Seudah Shlishit not only comes at the peak of the holiness of the day, but also symbolizes achila she'eh kedusha. Because if you're full and you're eating, it's called achila gasa. And achila gasa, lav shma achila. It's not considered to be achila. So yes, even eating needs to be, or could be, elevated to a level of an act of holiness. It is a tremendous lesson that these 2 points of the parasha, if we only pay attention and apply it to our lives, will change our lives from one side to the other. From life that has no meaning. Motar adam min habehema ainhu ki hakol afes. What's the difference between man and beast? Nothing. It's all nothing. Yes, there is a difference. That's why I love Kohelet so much. I love Mishlei so much. But Kohelet, so wonderful. He goes the whole entire thing, and the bottom line at the end, keep the mitzvot, do what Hashem wants, because this is the essence of life. So if you feel lost, and you feel that your life doesn't make sense to you, and you don't know what you're doing, look at the kedusha of your life. Look at the mission. It doesn't mean that you have to quit everything. I mean, it's very nice if you can sit down and learn all day long, or be in some kind of like a cloud, but you don't give up on yourself. If you have to go outside to the world, that by itself also could become an act of kedusha. And let me just finish with this. Remember, Chanoch became a malach, an angel, became the archangel, by doing things l'shem shamayim. He was stitching. Every stitch he was making a shoe, he would say, l'shem shamayim. For the l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven, for the sake of heaven. So much, even such a lousy job as stitching shoes, it was a shoemaker that made him to become an angel. Now, if he can do it, there's no reason why we can't. The only reason is, do we really want? So now I told you. Now I showed you a secret. How to sanctify your life. How to direct your actions. And I'm going to tell you this, by the way, you could be involved in the highest level of a kedusha and make it completely chol. You could chas v'shalom be in bet medrash and make it into chas v'shalom chol. You could be a kohen gadol and be involved with everything but kedusha. So the place does not make a difference. It's the intent. So now you know what to do. You know what to do to give meaning to your life. You know what to do, how to sanctify your life. So if you're feeling down, you know that there's no kedusha. Direct your actions. Don't give up. Direct your actions. Align them with meaning. Don't forget that you are pure. Don't give up on yourself. We don't believe, unlike Christianity, that mankind is the ultimate sinner. There's no hope for you. On the contrary, Judaism believes in the goodness that is implanted in each and every one of us, and the ability that we have to change chol lekodesh. We can do it. Again, the question is, do we want to? The answer is, yes, we do want to. We just didn't know how. But now you do. Get to work. Shabbat Shalom.